What's up, everybody? Rahim Escalai here. July 16th, 2022. Happy Saturday, goddammit. This is episode 393 of 413 Sportstalk. The NFL is crept back on into our lives again, and today we'll bring it to you, brought to you by us, 413 Sportstalk. News and scores for the WNBA, NBA, Summer League, and the MLB. It's All-Star Weekend, though, for Major League Baseball, so I know y'all gotta get prepared for that and happy for that or whatever. So let's start this episode now, please, so we can get into it. It's a lot of talking. This is gonna be a big one, so just buckle in and get your popcorn ready. So, NBA Summer League, Clippers over the Jazz, 82-65. Philly over Denver, 97-71. OKC over Golden State, 90-72. Sacramento over Phoenix, 82-69. Washington, 97. Indy, 79. Toronto, 88. Miami, 78. And Los Angeles Lakers over the New Orleans Pelicans, 102-94. That is it for NBA Summer League. Major League Baseball now. We're just getting right through this shit, huh? Philly 2, Miami 1, Atlanta 8, Washington 4, Boston 5, Yankees 4. Toronto 8, Kansas City 1, Tampa Bay 5, Baltimore 4, Cleveland 6, Detroit 5, Seattle 8, Texas 3, Chicago White Sox 6, Minnesota 2, Oakland 5, Houston 1, St. Louis 7, Cincy 3, Colorado 13, Pittsburgh 2. The battle for LA Dodgers all over the Angels in this one, 9-1. San Diego 5, Arizona 3, and San Francisco Giants 8, Milwaukee Brewers 5, and the Mets and Chicago Cubs were postponed due to inclement weather, thunderstorms, shit like that. Anyway, Major League Baseball is finished. Now we are talking NFL Ranked, the new segment I've been talking about all week. This latest segment is called hashtag Ranked. I went in different sections of different aspects of football, and I went through and I wanted to point out guys who were the best at what they were, but from a different type of perspective, using a different formula, because everybody just sees list after list after ranking after this after that, but I don't think that they coupled math with next gen stats like I did. So without further ado, just looking around, it's a beautiful day out. So here we go. Today we are going to start this one off on defense. I call this hashtag Ranked the top 10 covers of 2021. There's actually a Cowboys cornerback on this list, not named Trevon Diggs. No bullshit. Seriously, I can't make this up. Okay, here we go. It's time. Stopping the run is the most important for defenses if they are to succeed. But the NFL asks a lot more of its defenders. Now they got to stop the run. They got to pressure the quarterback, take away opportunities to complete passes down the football field in the air. There's a lot to deal with at one time. These schemes are so complex. It's just like the parameters I use to separate the best coverage defenders from the rest. In order to qualify, players need at least 300 snaps, 40 targets as the nearest defender, and a catch rate allowed below the expectations, meaning they're consistently breaking up passes that were likely to be completions. Finally, and bear with me here on this, they also need a negative targeted expected points potential. Points added, this is a metric of sorts used to quantify how much a player impacts his opponent's scoring potential, pretty much. It's actually the most important tool I use whenever evaluating defenders when coverage, and that goes for the skill position guys, running backs, wide receivers, you name it, whoever. One other thing to note is what I call the tight window percentage. That has to be at 20 at least. 15 for linebackers due to the nature of their position being second level run/coverage defenders. And a passer rating of no more than 80 is allowed. So now that you have the criteria, let's go through and get this done. Well, I'm not trying to fucking melt out here. one more thing. At some point, we're all going to wonder why Dallas Cowboys star cornerback Trevon Diggs is not on this list. I'm going to just leave you with this right here. Right? He failed to meet the tight window percentage. His was 16.3, not the required 20. This is that I am presenting you with is something designed for players to make life for the quarterbacks fucking hell. Absolutely. In every sense of the word. Something designed so for them to fit passes into tight coverage spots, windows, touchdowns. Don't do that at that rate. Don't do it at the rate that the average defenders do. Sorry, I got a little mixed up there. Not to mention the fact I found reasons to strengthen my belief that he is not a true blanket corner. He uses his excellent closing speed and ball skills to make. 1 second. Sorry, message came through. He uses his ball skills and the good closing speed to make plays on the ball. But he makes a lot of picks. I'm not gonna lie. But all defensive backs know that playing coverage like that is a hit or miss kind of thing. You're either gonna pick it or you're not. You're gonna get burned. Passer rating allowed is a whimsical number to base any conclusion on. I'm just saying. But as far as the criteria in which these defenders are judged, that's exactly what I used. Anyway, no linebackers made my list this year, further emphasizing the fact that 2020 49ers Fred Warner was probably the best ever linebacker can do in coverage. Honestly, yes, defensive backs are going to have their work cut out for them, especially with the league turning into more of a passing situation. Especially when Nebraska quarterback William Watson III takes over that team in a starting job. Shout out to my boy, Springfield, Mass, right there. Going straight to, what's that over there, Big 12? Yeah. That's fucking awesome. Anyway, what else do I have to leave you with? Let's start this list very quickly. Xavier Howard at number 10, a cornerback for the Miami Dolphins. Passer rating allowed was 73.1. Catch rate below allowed expectation at minus 9.5%. Tight window percentage 22.2. Target rate 15.8%. Average separation is 2.9 yards, and the target expected points added is minus 10.5. So he's stopping your team from scoring 10.5 points alone. Just how that's set up. Let me read my evaluation. Howard began the 2021 season on the heels of a contract-related bullshit and almost wanting to be traded at one point. It seemed to bleed on into the on-field action as well. In weeks 1 through 8, Howard allowed a passer rating that flirted with 100. He gave up 5 touchdowns as the nearest defender in coverage and posted a targeted EPA of 11.8 plus 11.8. Then Howard turned things around in remarkable fashion. In the following 9 weeks, Howard allowed the second lowest passer rating at 42.9, which is like half of what he was, one half of what he was doing. Minimum 30 targets in that span. And the fifth lowest targeted EPA, now going on to minus 19.4 points. He gave up just 2 more touchdowns as the nearest defender, bringing his targeted EPA back towards a level good enough for this list at minus 10.5. After all the money-related discourse, mind you, in May of 2019, he signed a 5-year, $76.5 million contract extension with $46 million guaranteed. Making him the highest-paid cornerback in the league. Flash forward to around this time last year, he announced that he requested a trade from the Miami due to feeling undervalued and underpaid for the position. Wow, holy shit. In regards to training camp, you know how that went. I'm here so I don't get fined, basically, is what he was saying. Front office feverishly reworked Howard's contract, making him the highest paid corner in 2021 with incentives and bonuses. Finally, a few months ago, it was no more fools. On April 1st, he signed a brand new 5-year contract with $51 million in guaranteed new money. I expect Xavier to do the same or just be a little bit more than what he was for the Miami Dolphins. Heading into this season with lots of motivation and that second half of how he performed last year leaking on into this season. So go Dolphins. That's Xavier Howard at number 10. Jamel Dean, a corner for the Tampa Bay Bucks at number 9. His passer rating allowed was 60.5. Catch rate below expectation was minus 10.3%. Tight window percentage 21.2. Target rate of 16.9. And average separation of 2.6 yards. Targeted expected points allowed added for him was minus 11.9, which is another brilliant number. Dean would be a spot higher on this list if Levi Wallace had not outperformed him in targeted EPA. That's not much of a knock on Dean, though, whose next-gen stats metrics jumped off the screen and screamed at me when compiling this list. Quarterbacks completed just under 48.5% of passes in which Dean was the nearest defender. Producing a coverage success rate, the percentage of targets that result in a successful play for the defense, rivaling that of Atlanta Falcons' A.J. Terrell, and you know about the year he had, who, as you will see, is ranked very high on the list, on my list. And Dean allowed the 9th lowest passer rating, 60.5 in the league. Entering a contract year, he has certainly built positive momentum that could result in quite a huge payday. Play your cards right, and you just might be the next highest paid cornerback in the NFL. Honestly. Number 8, Levi Wallace, corner for Buffalo Bills. He obviously, if you know, went to the Pittsburgh Steelers in free agency. Passer rating allowed was kind of high, 73.8. Catch rate below expectation, minus 2.6%. Tight window percentage was 27.2. It's kind of iffy. Target rate at 18%. Average separation 2.4 yards, and targeted expected points added was minus 15.3. Here's what I have to say about him. After earning a new deal with the Steelers in free agency, Wallace lands on this list for a few reasons. His targeted EPA is a strong minus 15.3, and his tight window percentage of 27.2 is indicative of a corner who stays very close to his intended target and is ready to make a play. Wallace's 10 passes defense should come as no surprise also, and he might have landed higher on the list had he finished with more than 2 interceptions on 81 targets. Wallace might not have racked up the gaudiest numbers of guys on this list, but he's frequently in the right position to make a play, and that's something I really like about him. He'll end up with better ranking if he makes more of those plays in Pittsburgh, which I think he has perfect opportunity to do so this year. Moving on very fast, we got Cameron Dantzler, cornerback from the Minnesota Vikings at number 7. Somebody who unfortunately I'm a little too familiar with. Passer rating allowed is 74. Catch rate allowed below expectation, 7.4%. Tight window percentage 20.6. That's good. Target rate 19.6%. Average separation 2.8 yards, and a targeted expected points added of minus 18.2. Think about that dude. That's over 2 touchdowns that you're not scoring when Cam is focused and locked in with his game. Seeing Dantzler here might not come as a surprise to many who know defensive backs, but the metrics for him were too good to overlook. He posted a targeted EPA of minus 18.2, 10th among defensive backs. Dantzler excelled at limiting yards gained by opposing pass catchers, allowing just 4.9 yards per target in coverage, one of the lowest rates of the NFL this season. He also tied for the 4th fewest yards per catch reception allowed at 2.3. A tight window percentage of 20.6 just barely nudged him into qualifying for the list, but it allowed for folks like me to realize that Dantzler was better in coverage than most of the professional guys realize, honestly. Next one's for you, Coach Bird, Coach Deion Bird, shout out to you. Number 6, Anthony Brown, cornerback from the Dallas Cowboys. Passer rating of 75.8 allowed. Catch rate below expectation, minus 6.4%. Tight window percentages, 28.2. Target rate, 21.7%. Average separation is 2.6 yards. And targeted expected points added of minus 19. Phenomenal. We always get a few surprises with these rankings, and Cowboys fans will likely raise an eyebrow at this one, because I know I did at first. For much of 2021, it felt like Brown was getting attention for being on the wrong end of a completion. But his total resume tells a whole different story. Brown saw more targets as the nearest defender to any other player in 2021 with 117. Yet he was consistently right there to make a play, or at the very least make the completion difficult. Despite the high volume of targets, Brown's tight window rate was over 28%, and he allowed the sixth lowest completion percentage among defensive backs with 49.6. His completion percentage allowed below expectation, finished at a solid 6.4%. I'm okay. Then he finished with at the sixth lowest targeted EPA on deep balls at minus 6.8. While Trevon Diggs attracted more the lion's share of positive praise in 2021, Brown was there on the other side playing a solid number 2 cornerback, using those skills to pay the bills. Number 5, Kevin Byard, safety for the Tennessee Titans, who was probably their best player on defense last year. Passer rating allowed 62.7. Catch rate allowed below expectation, minus 8.6%. Tight window percentage of 23.5. Target rate of 9%. Means quarterbacks are kind of smart and wanted to stay away from this guy. Average separation of 2.6 yards and a targeted expected points added of minus 2. So he did get scored on, but for what it's worth, he was the best defensive player on his team. And here we go. Byard, the only safety on this list, finished with a ball hawk rate of 25.5%, best in the NFL, minimum of 50 targets. Thanks to his 5 interceptions, tied for the most among safeties, and 13 passes defensed, the most among safeties. He allowed a passer rating of 62.7, posted a completion percentage under the expectation of 8.6%, and put all of that together to record a targeted EPA of minus 21. He was especially effective at taking away perceived mismatches, finishing with the lowest passer rating allowed, minimum 15 targets, when covering tight ends at 15.1. In these rankings, he's the best at his position. Excuse me. Now on to number 4, a guy who had a very spectacular rookie season, Patrick Surtain II, corner out of the Denver Broncos. He allowed 59.9 for a passer rating, a catch rate allowed below expectation, minus 6.1. Tight window percentage 28.1, target rate 20.6%, average separation 2.4 yards, and a targeted expected points added minus 21.8. Do tell? Yes, I will. There's no better time to show you that you're headed for a bright future than in your first season. And Surtain did just that in 2021. The rookie stepped right into the spotlight last season, recording an interception in his second professional game and snagging 2 picks against the division rival Chargers in Week 12. Taking one back for a touchdown, such plays on the ball powered his targeted EPA, which landed at 21.8, 6th lowest in the NFL, and 4th lowest on this list. Offenses that thought it was wise to test the youngster soon learned that was a mistake. Surtain allowed a passer rating of 59.9 as the nearest defender, and he was even better downfield, running with intended targets and taking away their chances to make a positive impact, posting the 4th highest tight window rate, 62.5 on all deep targets. 20 plus more air yards down the field. He finished with the best targeted EPA on such throws at 16.9. He proved himself to be worth the first-round pick spent by the Broncos and is on trajectory for even greater things to come in 2002 and beyond. Number 3, no bias, Rasul Douglas, corner for my Green Bay Packers. Passer rating allowed 48.5. Catch rate allowed below expectation, minus 6.9%. Tight window percentage at 29.2. Target rate at 17.5%. Average separation 2.3 yards. And targeted expected points added of minus 22.7. This was a fucking lockdown corner, if there's any other way that I can explain it. So number 2, I have J.C. Jackson, corner for the New England Patriots. He signed with the Chargers in free agency. A passer rating around 48.4. Catch rate allowed below expectation, minus 8.9%. Target rate of 21%. Tight window percentage of 20.8. Average separation, 2.9 yards. And targeted expected points added, minus 27.1. So don't throw it in his direction, basically. Jackson has a new home in sunny Los Angeles, and he's bringing a premier resume with him. Jackson finished second in targeted EPA, minus 27.1. Recorded 8 picks, boosting his ball hawk rate to 24%. And allowed a passer rating of just 48.4 and posted a completion percentage allowed under expectation of 8.9%. The only statistical downside was his tight window percentage, which was just barely made the cut at 20.8. Still with 23 passes defensed on 96 targets, making him one of the most targeted players in the league, Jackson was consistently disrupting pass attempts. He proved that he wasn't just another corner playing opposite 2019 Defensive Player of the Year and Stephon Gilmore. In his first season without him, the Chargers paid him accordingly. And this brings us to our number one guy, which you've probably been wondering who it is since I made that little Atlanta Falcons reference. And yes, it's A.J. Terrell, corner for the Falcons, who were horrible, I understand. But allowed a 49.9 passer rating, minus 14.6% catch route rate allowed below expectation. Tight window percentage, which he didn't make it of, 30.1. Target rate of 14.8. Average separation, 2.7 yards. And targeted expected points added of minus 29.4, is best in the NFL, which means he got scored on the least of any corner. The expectations for the Falcons might not be high entering 2022, but we should all make it a point to closely watch Terrell this season. While Atlanta fought to be a competitive team in 2021, Terrell blossomed in a significant way. He posted league best marks in a number of categories, including completion percentage allowed, 41.1, and yards allowed per target, 4.1. Terrell performed at an elite level in only his second professional season, boasting a coverage success rate, which is the percentage of targets that result in a successful play for the defense, of 68.5%, best among all qualifiers. He has an incredibly bright future ahead of him, and I think he is a piece that the Falcons are going to be able to build around and he will be the head of the secondary, the head of probably the best of all NFC South secondaries. Let's just go ahead and say that about that boy. Anyway, episode 393 is in the books. 4-3 Sports Talk. Thank you for coming. Don't forget, we have YouTube only weekend. That starts Monday, July 25th, 2022. One of the most perfect days of the year. Love you all. Wishing up and out about the success. And we will see you tomorrow with episode 394. And this segment, NFL #Ranked, continues tomorrow.